Hello and welcome to All Villa, No Filler. Please like and subscribe. I've just been on the Claret and Blue podcast with Dan Rowlandson. Lovely guy, fantastic podcast, one of the best going. So please do go and check that out. I'll put a link in the description below. So I get to relive that really. Aston Villa 0, Liverpool 3. And to be honest, I think it could have been Liverpool 7, Villa 3. It feels a bit like both teams underscored what their XG was. How do you describe that? Well, leading up to the game, I think the question was, can Aston Villa cope without Tyrone Mings playing that high line? Now, when we went to Anfield in April, Tyrone Mings, I thought was fantastic leading that back line. And I think Villa played the high line really, really well. And Liverpool kept overhitting their balls through the high line. And I think that also John McGinn was exceptional at disrupting Trent as he came into midfield from that fullback position and roamed around the midfield. McGinn was exceptional at stopping him from playing. Hence why Villa, they held out for as long as they could. And then they took a chance when it came. And the difference today was Aston Villa gave a goal away almost immediately. And I think that set the tone for the rest of the day. It was, tough day for Torres. He really struggled today. And there will be question marks after what happened against Newcastle and Liverpool, how well he copes in this high line and whether Unai Emery now needs to adjust things a little bit for games like Liverpool and Newcastle away, high intense environments, better teams are going to have more of the ball. So, not better than Villa, of course, but I mean, just better teams than the average you play. So, to start the game, playing it around at the back as usual, and then Torres tries to take it past Salah, gets tackled and gives the corner away. And from that, Liverpool, the ball comes straight to Szoboszlai. No one's standing on the edge of the area. No one picks him up. So he's able to, it's a fantastic hit, great goal, but he's able to have that hit. So it just felt like Villa started sloppy and it set the tone for the rest of the day. Because as soon as you go 1-0 down against Liverpool, away from home, they taste or they smell blood. And they're going to keep ripping into you until the blood keeps bloody spurting out. Sorry about that. Doesn't sound very nice, does it? But whereas Villa, I think when you're 1-0 down away at Anfield, it's tough to come back into that then, isn't it? You're the whole time you're thinking, well, we've got to get a goal somehow. But if we go too hard for it and concede one more, then it can all just go very horribly wrong. And we were lucky it didn't go horribly wrong. I mean, 3-0. I mean, bloody hell, it could have been worse, to be honest. But as I say, Villa had chances. And, there were two occasions in the first half. Douglas Luiz started both of them, showed his class again at times today. Ball over the top to Diaby, he pulls it back, and there's no one really there in the right position. And then Douglas Luiz again whips it out to the left for Luca Dean, low ball into the area, and Bailey and Watkins, no one takes control. It's almost like they're second guessing each other. And I thought that summed up Villa today, really. And the contrast to May when we were so good to today, where Trent just had the freedom of the park. There was a period of time where he could have pitched up a tent, got out, war and peace, probably read to about near the end, and then knocked the ball forward to Mo Salah for the second goal. All the time in the world, great ball over the top for Salah. He pulls it back, and Nunes hits the bar, and then Matty Cash scores an own goal. I think given, Trent just had so much in the first half where he would whip balls out to the left where Luis Diaz would find a lot of space, or he'd dink that ball over the top. And he had too many occasions where he was able to do that. It was like almost like, whereas in May, John McGinn took control of that situation. It was like no one took control of that. And somebody had to just basically get immediately, as if Liverpool get possession, I would just think surely someone closes in and stops him. But that's something I'm sure Emery will look at in the next couple of weeks. And I thought, to be honest, Liverpool 15 games unbeaten. So they're obviously in really good form. I thought the way they structured their press was exceptional. I thought when Villa got the ball at the back against Everton and Burnley, there was always gaps, there was always a way through, right? And Torres could be a key attacking player. He could start passes, thread through balls and all that. Today, it felt like any time Torres got the ball, 5 Liverpool players would come forward in a very like set structure to disrupt the passing lanes. And Torres would get the ball and Nunes would close him down. And then as soon as Torres tried to shift to look out wide, Salah would be positioning himself perfectly to cut out that pass. And then he'd sort of look up, and as soon as he's looked up, by the time he looks up, he's got bloody Nunes on him. Or he's got, you can see the through ball, but it's not a convenient pass to make to Kamara, who's got a player on his back. Liverpool were really good in the press, I thought. And you have to, Jurgen Klopp is an absolutely amazing coach and they have amazing players. So you do have to take that into account. But you do also have to say what happened today and what happened at Newcastle is concerning. And it is a bit of a trend, that we're able to be so fantastic in, games against Hibs, Burnley and Everton. And it was a fantastic response to a really tough opening day. But against Newcastle and Liverpool, to have scenarios where in both games that back line struggled and at times looked in disarray, that's concerning. And it's, we're missing Mings. So missing him in those scenarios is a big miss. It is. I'm not sure yet that back line is ready to, they haven't played together all that much. Carlos had a year out. Torres hasn't played with these guys very often. Consa's not really played with those other 2 players all that much. On top of that, Carlos got injured in the first 20 minutes. So that again disrupted how we wanted to approach the game. So it's frustrating in the sense that they were disrupted. It's frustrating in the sense that it looked a little naive, a little casual. At times, it was like watching cricket in the first half. It was sunny. Anfield was pretty quiet, I thought. I didn't think Liverpool were playing at that ferocious a pace, as well as they structured themselves. I didn't think Villa played at a particularly great pace. And I kind of felt like Freddie Flintoff could walk out into the centre circle and start in sixes. It was a bit cricket. And like I say, there were moments where Villa should have taken chances. I thought Douglas Luiz showed moments of quality, as he always does, because that's what he is. I thought Conte actually did all right. It's weird to say that about a defender. Martinez pulled off a couple of big saves. I thought Diaby looked a class act again. I think Bailey was quite unlucky to come off. I thought actually he'd done all right when he came on. But look, it's not doom and gloom. Villa will bounce back from this again, like they did from Newcastle. I'm sure Villa will bounce back. Got a lot of games coming up, a lot of interesting tests coming up. Palace at home next. They don't tend to do well at Villa Park, but they're a good side. But it is an opportunity for Villa to bounce back, I think. The game that I'm intrigued in is Chelsea away. That's coming up soon. And Chelsea have not had a great start to the season. They got beat by Forest, who played very deep, hit them on the break, scored a goal and won. And I wonder, after what's happened with Newcastle and with Liverpool, in 2 games where the opposition has the crowd behind them and has more of the ball, over the next 2 weeks in the international break, will Emery look at it and think, do I need to make adjustments for a game like Chelsea away? I'm intrigued to see what he does. And we're very lucky we've got a manager who I fully believe will do something to change things up in a positive way. So it was a casual, naive performance. I really didn't enjoy watching it at all. I'm not going to go mad about it, because what's the point? But I think Villa can do better than that, and I'm sure Emery knows that as well. And I'm sure Emery can do better than that himself. I think he'll. I trust him to look at it and think he knows where things need to change. But also, let's not forget the fact that quite a few key players were missing. I think Ramsey and Moreno would have really helped today. I think the left-hand side struggled today. Dean and Torres struggled out there. And I think Moreno and Jacob Ramsey and his physicality would have just helped. And I think if Villa had not conceded that goal in the first 5 minutes and had managed to hold out for 20 minutes, we'd have got it. Maybe we'd have got a chance and scored it. And then it's a different game entirely. But yeah, so hopefully a couple of key players are coming back soon. And I'm confident with Villa that we will bounce back from this. So, yeah, it sucks what happened today. And it sucks what happened at Newcastle. But there's been a lot of good in between. And hopefully, going forward, we can have a bit more of the good than what we saw today. So, there we go. As I say, please like and subscribe and go and listen to that interview with Dan Rowlandson on the Claret and Blue. As I say, super podcast. Please subscribe to them as well. But other than that, up the mighty Villa.